What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sub 2 Club channel. Today we have Cory, beautiful EG. Before we get into the car, as always, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Cory. I'm 20 years old. I've been into the Honda scene probably for about like 4 years now. And ever since then, I've loved it, honestly. And here's my 93 Honda Civic EG. It's a track car, but I still drive it on the street though because I like to have fun with it. Yeah.
You're 20 and you started getting into cars at 16. That's pretty early, right?
Yeah.
Did you have your first car when you were 16?
Yeah, my dad, he bought me a 98 Integra RS for Christmas.
Nice.
I was 15 and a half at that time.
Nice.
And I couldn't drive it. I had my permit though, so we would take it out when he would sit passenger with me. But I waited till I was 16, then like literally the day of after the 6-month mark, I got my license and then I started driving on my own, drove literally everywhere, you know, just because I wanted to drive. But
not many younger guys that are into cars nowadays, right?
I mean, there is some, but they follow like the other crowd, you know, like it's kind of rare, or like, you know, the people who do takeovers and stuff. It's kind of rare to see like a younger kid that does like track and stuff like that. So when I do see younger kids, it's like, yo, like it's dope, you know, to see them out here.
Yeah. So your dad was obviously a Honda guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What kind of car did he have?
Back then, what I really remember when I was younger, he didn't have a car when I was like any Civics back then because he gave it up when he had my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
But before he had me and my brother, he had a 91 EF. I believe he had a 91 CRX SIR. I think it was a 91 or it could be an 89. I'm not too sure. But he had a 4-door Integra, I remember. Mm-hmm. He had like a bunch of other, you know, different chassis back then that he didn't really have, like, you know, but
all Hondas though.
Yeah, all Hondas. Yeah. But then he got out of it, and then that's when he purchased the EM1, and that's when I was 12 years old and I got into it. Like I just got attracted to it since he was fixing it up too.
Cool.
So
what was he into track driving as well?
No, he wasn't really into it until I got into it when I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
That's when we started going to like meets. So we started going to track events like Global Time Attack. We would go to VTech Club too. Before I even had a car, we would just go out and just go watch and, you know, and look at all the cars, see how their cars are all set up and everything. And then that's when I turned 15 and a half and I got my Integra, and I just put coilovers, wheels, and I took it.
Oh,
so,
cool. Just first track day just happened like that, right?
Yeah, my first track day, literally, it was when I was 16 years old.
Cool.
Yeah.
You just been watching all these guys doing track days and you just kind of fell in love with it?
Yeah, especially because I used to go to the canyons a lot too. Like right when I got my license, everybody was like, oh, GMR. So I went up there and I fell in love with it too. But the thing was, I would always end up like spinning out, crashing, you know, or hitting like the dirt mound or something like that. Yeah. So that's when my dad was like, hey, why don't you just try track racing? Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So me and him, we both went. He took his EM1, I took my Integra. Our first track day out there, we went to streets. Dude, fell in love. So I just stopped going to the canyons because it was a waste of money on gas, and it was a waste of tire because, you know, when you're going up there, honestly, like I would go up there at 12 a.m. till 5 in the morning, and that's the time where it's like it's really sketchy out there, you know.
Right.
But and yeah,
you brought up a great point. What we want to try to do is promote, you know, track driving and not, you know, doing anything stupid on the street.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, ever since my first track day in December of 2018, I just been going to the track ever since then.
Cool.
So it's like I try to track like at least every month or so, honestly. But during the summer, I stop because it's so hot. You know, you end up just killing your motor in the heat.
Good.
So,
do you have a dream car?
Dream car? Realistically, I think my dream car would be probably like a R34.
Oh.
But those things cost like a house right now. So I would say probably like maybe realistically like an NSX or S2000, like a CR.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great car.
Yeah.
Cory, do you have a favorite track, and what's the reason for it?
Favorite track I would say is Buttonwillow. I like Buttonwillow because it's like very high speed, but it flows really good. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you've been on Buttonwillow, you'd understand like what I'm saying. Like it flows really good, and there's a lot of speed. But yeah.
What other tracks have you been to so far? You've been to all the Southern California tracks?
Pretty much besides Laguna Seca. I mean, the up north ones I've never been, but all around SoCal I've been to like Streets of Willow, Big Willow, Buttonwillow, Chuckwalla. I mean, even what's that little park right here, Adams Motorsports? Yeah, I've been there too.
Good. I actually love that track.
Yeah. Honestly, FF chassis feels really good there because it's a go-kart track, you know.
Exactly.
So you can really tosh the car over there.
Yeah, Corey. It's a super clean EG. What year is this car?
I believe it's a 93.
93. Okay. And you used to have another one, right? A green one.
Yes. Well, this chassis, this one specifically, this one has a lot of history behind it.
Nice.
So like, I know it looks like very bland and plain right now, but before, back then in the early 2000s, this used to be Tony Jackson's car.
Oh, was
from
it really?
Ibach.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was the Ibach racing car with the livery,
nice.
the TEs, you know. That's why when we go inside the interior, you'll see the stack cluster. That's been in there since the early 2000s.
Cool.
So, I mean, that's why I chose this car, because there's just a bunch of history behind it. Other than my green EG, my personal car. And I crashed that one. So it wasn't like the sentimental value kind of like just went away after I crashed it. And then, well, it was a perfect timing because we got this one. So I just was like, I'm gonna sell this one and we'll focus on building this one. That way, this is a lot more better chassis than the other one, a lot more straighter. So
yeah, this is super clean. All right, well, let us know what you have. I see spoon caliper.
Brakes wise, it's a Mini Cooper rotor. I believe it's a stop tech. With the spoon caliper, 15x7 plus 35 SSR Type C with Nanking tires, 225/45 in front. I have a Jay's Racing fender, Fiber Images hood, EC work style mirrors, just the OEM front lip. That's probably about it for the outside. It's very simple.
So you're running 245 or 225 in the front, okay?
Yeah.
What kind of suspension are you running?
S3.
S3, okay.
S3 suspension. Those are really good suspension. If you're gonna go into tracking, I'd definitely recommend those.
Okay. What about arms?
Arms, everything is PCI.
Nice.
So PCI front, PCI, everything in the rear is all PCI, trailing arm, toe arm, LCA, camber arm, everything you could pretty much think of. Good. And then I have the ASR 24mm sway bar, I believe. I'm gonna upgrade to the 32mm soon.
Cool.
So
cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the outside.
All right. What about the brake pads? What do you run?
The brake pads, I'm running Nissan Red race pads.
Oh, okay.
But those are discontinued now, so I'm gonna run the new ones that they have. They're orange, and I believe they're called the Nissan Type R race pads.
Nice.
So I heard those are a lot better than the ones that I have currently.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run those. But
and in the back, what do you have?
The back pads, I just have Duralast Golds.
There you go.
Because I don't really want my rear to end up biting and locking up. I've seen a lot of guys at the track run like good pads in the rear and they end up locking up, and I've never had an issue with these.
Good. And those are those stock calipers?
Yeah, stock. Okay. These are just off of Integra.
Okay.
The rear disc conversion.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pop the hood. So with the green car, you had a B18?
Yeah, I had a fully built B18c, pistons, rods, head package. We made 187, but truly it was around like 210, 215.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a lot of power.
It was fast. It revved out to 9,300 RPM.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super fast. I blew it up at Buttonwillow. Yeah, it was a hot day that day.
So after you blowing up that engine, did you put in another different engine?
So I blew that one up. I blew a hole in the block, towed it back home, and then I believe the next week or two, I bought a B20 VTEC. I just wanted to throw it in and just so I could drive it on the street. And I threw it in, tuned it. It made 176 with like 137 torque or something like that. It was fast. It pulled. I took it to buttonwillow again. I rod knocked it, and then I obviously I towed it home. I threw a LSV tech in just to drive it.
Yeah.
Because my plan was to just drive it on the street, enjoy it, because it was down for a whole, I think, like 4 or 5 months.
Oh.
So I just threw the LSV tech in, and then I had a GSR block in my storage, so I sent it to the machine shop with another head. So it's a fully built GSR now that I have in my storage, and that was supposed to go in my green car.
I see.
So that's why I put the LSV tech in, just to drive, and then when I was ready for the season, I was just gonna throw the built motor in and race it at the track. But I ended up crashing it on the street. So I just ended up, selling the car. Now that I have the built motor, it's gonna go into this car for next year's race season.
Nice.
But
so you did a 58 with that setup, right?
59.
59. Wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
And now you're aiming to, I guess, go faster with this thing, right?
Yeah, this car with the built motor, I really hope to do honestly, like a 56, 57.
Oh, that'll be
this car.
No
No aero.
That's quick.
I mean, I hope that the motor will put down at least like 210, 220.
Nice.
So it'll be tuned on 85 this time.
Nice,
My last tune was on 91. So.
Got it. So with this thing, you told me you've done a 202.
Yeah.
That's quick, man. How much power does this thing make?
Honestly, I mean, it's a stock LS Integra motor, so I think they make realistically it's probably like 120 something, like
120 max, yeah.
120, 118 or something like that. And the torque is like probably around the same number, or like a little bit lower, like 100 torque. And that's why, like in my class, N2 class, I fall back a little because I have less torque and less horsepower. And everybody else is tuned, like they have like 130 plus horsepower. Not saying that that's a lot or whatever, but that number makes a big difference. Especially when you're racing.
So yeah, non-VTEC.
Non-VTEC, 4.7 Type R transmission.
Okay.
Stock diff. That's why I'm gonna build another transmission later on for the GSR. That way it doesn't there's too much power for the diff. And you're losing out on the corners. So I hope to do a 4.9 final drive with the Kaz clutch type or a Cusco clutch type LSD.
Good. How much does this thing weigh?
The car, the previous owner told me, honestly, I think he told me the car weighed just shy of 1970, 1980, something like that, with him inside the car. I believe so. So that's pretty light. Cool. I think with me inside the car, it's probably still the same, like 1900, because I don't even weigh anything, But this car's really light. I mean, it has the fiberglass fenders, and this hood is super flimsy. Yeah.
So you're running basically stock ECU, stock everything, right? Just intake.
It's literally a stock ECU, P75 LS ECU, stock LS Integra motor with the stock wiring and everything for it.
Cool.
So.
Just aftermarket radiator.
Aftermarket radiator to keep it cool. Obviously just bolt-ons, but it doesn't have a tune, so I don't know if that really helps it, But yeah, has a full header. The exhaust is 2.5. It just has a little turn down tip for when I race.
Yeah.
But for the street, I usually have a spoon and one.
Yeah.
And the intake is just a custom titanium intake with the V stack on there.
Nice. Have you done anything to the brake booster?
Yeah, that one's I believe it's a Type R.
Okay. And then the master is stock, I'm assuming?
I think so. Or it's all Type R. I'm not too sure. It came with the car already.
Gotcha. Yeah, to the people that haven't tracked their car, it doesn't really take much to go out to the track and then just drive it like you mean it, right?
Right, because my first car was my Integra, and that car literally just had Godspeed Motomax coilovers, and that was it.
Yeah,
it literally had stock camber kits. It's self-cambered, you know, because the lower you go, it cambers in. So that's what happened. And I had 15x8s on there with a 225 tire, and it fit without having to just camber. All I would do is just go to a alignment shop and get it, you know, the toe straight and everything. And I would just go to the track like that. Literally, wheels, good tires, like decent tires, like 200 tread wear, just because you know, you're still fairly new, and coilovers, and dude, go out there and have fun. Oh, and a bucket seat. I recommend a bucket seat.
Yeah, gotta have the bucket seat.
You're gonna fly around in your stock seat. Definitely. Yeah. Doesn't take much.
Let's show the inside. Let's see what you got going on. Wow. Yeah, those old school stack gauges are so cool, man.
The stack cluster with the stack fuel gauge. Momo Monte Carlo blue stitch steering wheel with the spoon horn button.
Nice.
Fastline shifter, year 10 knob from Sticky Dojo.
Nice.
Recaro pole positions in blue. Cusco 6-point harness. 4-point auto power roll bar, and Miracle X bar in the back. And the interior's been fully repainted.
That's clean.
You see like some tire, some leftover tire.
What are these buttons for?
Those are to adjust the stack cluster.
Oh,
so
nice.
When you turn on the car,
yeah,
and that little green LCD screen right there, it'll be your speedometer, your oil temp, your oil pressure, and your water temp.
Okay.
So you can like adjust to where, say if it's like at 200 or say like 240 peak on on the water temp, the gauge will flash, you know.
Gotcha.
It'll alert you. That way you can set it at like whatever pressure or whatever temp it is.
You mind showing that real quick?
Let me see. There's also like a lap timer too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like very, I usually don't mess with it, but there's a so there's the water, the speedometer. The oil temp doesn't work because I don't have it hooked up, but it has the oil pressure. The oil pressure works. And then obviously the RPM.
Nice. Love the backlighting. It's white on top and then green on the bottom.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Very cool.
And then you have the fuel gauge here.
Yeah, the fuel gauge right here. Stack fuel gauge.
Alright, cool. Thank you. What exhaust is that? It's pretty loud.
The exhaust, it's I believe the header. It's like a
1320, I think.
yeah,
I saw.
1320 or something like that. And then it's just to a custom 2.5 V-band with the, I believe it has a vibrant.
Okay.
What is it? Resonator in the middle. And then it just has literally a turn down tip.
Nice.
To the end of the exhaust. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right under the right side LCA.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, this car feels like a go-kart.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Man. So 1,900 pounds with you in it.
I believe so. So I would say like honestly under 2,000.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah.
Me inside of the car under 2,000 pounds.
What was the most helpful mod?
with the suspension, realistically, because everything's PCI and I have S3 suspension with rear helper springs. The spring rates on this car is 14K in the front and 10 in the rear.
Okay.
That really helped. The suspension is really what's key in having a track, you know, like a track car.
Yeah.
You want it to handle really good on the turns, especially like power-wise doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's obvious from having this car. There's no power in this car whatsoever. It's just mainly handling, you know, corner
momentum
speed.
car.
Yeah, it's a momentum car. It's all corner speed. So I would say suspension is what really did it for me.
Cool. If you were to do it again, if you were to do it over, would you start with the same car?
Yes and no, because I always wanted to build a Integra because it was my first car.
Yeah.
So I do want to build another 98 Integra RS later on, like exactly like this, a track car. So if I were to do it again, I would do it Integra.
Cool. Finally, what's the next step?
Next step is to throw in the fully built motor with the built transmission and hope we do a 56. Yeah.
What's the record with the built B16 or B18 at buttonwillow?
I don't really know. I know.
Or what's considered fast?
At buttonwillow, I mean, honestly, anything that's sub 2 is really fast. You know. It's, like even if you fall into like the 203 and under category, that's like technically pretty fast. You know. And then when people can see that your time is like a 59, that's like, oh man, you're so fast, you know. But nowadays it's like, dude, there's this one guy, Nicky Hayes.
Oh
I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like my age or a year younger, something like that. But he's a Formula 4 driver, I believe. He did a 151 in his CRX.
That's crazy fast.
Yeah, he's a really good driver, dude. Like if you watch him drive, it's like no effort to him. Yeah.
What does sub 2 mean to you?
Sub 2? I mean, if I do a sub 2 in this car, that would be like it would mean a lot because, dude, like this car, I mean, not that we've technically built it, but all the suspension and everything we've thrown on this car and stuff like that, and it would pretty much like pay off in a way. I wanted to do a sub 2 in this car with this motor, but I've come to realization that it's underpowered, and if I don't have a built transmission, I'm not gonna be able to come out the corners or approach the corners really aggressive. So I've just come to realization that this car will do a 2 flat with the motor on brand new tires.
Cool.
But yeah, going sub 2 means a lot.
Especially on chassis like this, right?
Especially if you're like a FF guy, you know, you're into tracking. Sub 2 means a lot. That means like you're fast, I guess.
All right, last question. What things about life do you learn through cars?
Honestly, to be patient. To be really patient. That's what I've learned. Because like when you install parts, install motors, it doesn't go the way that, you know, things are supposed to go. That's exactly how life is. So I've learned that.
All right, so we talked about Cory's car, Cory's background in driving, getting into cars and whatnot. So as you can see, Cory's a younger guy, not a high budget car, and you can still, you know, have fun and go out to the track, just enjoy driving, learn the car. So we encourage you guys to do the same. Any final thing to say to the audience, Cory?
If you're looking into tracking your car, I would definitely go and track it. All you need is tires and coilovers and a seat. That's it. And go out there and have fun.
It's a whole lot of fun.
It's all about having fun.
Any shout outs?
Shout out to my parents.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to all my friends and people who supported me, you know, with all the car stuff. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for joining me today, Cory, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you for watching.
Cool.